Now see.
Forget it was a tough series. Both clubs riding each other, doing everything to get each other's goat.
A time with art.
Welcome to A Time with Art. Our guest today is Kevin Stein. I've known Kevin for a long time, and we work together in the SUU Communication Department. But Kevin is a huge movie buff, and today we're going to talk about sports movies. He tells me he has a quiz for me, and I won't know the answers because I do know a lot of sports movies, but I don't always know the people in them or who played what. Like Rocky I do, right? Rocky Balboa. And you've actually run up the stairs in Philadelphia.
I have. Have you done that before?
I haven't been there. No.
I felt sorry for the museum that's there because people only go there just to run up the stairs and then they don't go in the museum. So, but I may have a Rocky question here for you, Art. But I do watch a lot of movies, but I wouldn't say like I'm a sports movie expert or anything.
Well, you're a movie expert,
but
you know
I do watch
movies.
a lot of movies, and I have since I was a kid. So I don't know, even from old movies, black and white, to more contemporary. But
Well, wasn't Raging Bull in black and white?
yeah,
Yeah,
but that one didn't have to be though. He just preferred that as an artistic choice.
He
But
was just trying to make it
yeah,
stand out.
yeah, and it certainly did.
Yeah.
But that was a good one. But I've been ruined with movies. I don't know. I try to mix it up and read and other things, do other hobbies, but movies have always gone to like the forefront. I've always said to people, my value system is really God, family, film. That's it. There's nothing else that's going to supplant that. But
Well, it's good you got family second there, right?
yeah, I think that my wife would be worried if I started saying number 2 and 3 were close. But
Well, she came out of a kind of a sports family, didn't she?
I don't think
The
so.
swimming coach.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Her
His
stepdad
stepdad. Yeah.
was the swimming coach for Cedar High School for
Years.
30-something years and
Yeah.
so many state championships. And yeah, so that part of the family for sure. But he's recently passed, and so we're sad about that. But he was a legend around here.
Yeah, and he was previously married to Melinda Morris at
Mhm.
high school with me in '66. She graduated
Oh,
same
really?
year. And then she got cancer, I think. And
Yeah, she did.
passed away a long time ago. Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's a little history. But Kevin and I go back to organizational communication in what year? 98?
That was probably 98. Yeah. Yeah. And Art was one of my favorite teachers. But I did not like organizational communication. So I know you don't want to hear that your content really turned me off of that part of our discipline, but I thought you were dynamic and engaging, and you're just as fun now as you always were. But
And back then it was organizational was kind of new. A lot of it, the theory of it, dating back to when David Bednar, now an LDS church apostle, he wrote his dissertation at Purdue University
on OrgCom?
on he did the plan for the Walmart.
Oh,
And it was the last dissertation of the guy who they now call the father of organizational. But we're not talking about that really.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but-
I did not know that.
movies are kind of organizational, aren't they?
Once the teacher, always the teacher, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So what are some of your favorite sports movies that we should talk about today?
My favorite's probably, I go back and forth between Rocky, the original Rocky film, and probably Hoosiers. And then close behind it would probably be Rudy. And I'm a huge fan of Cinderella Man with
That was.
Russell Crowe and Paul Giamatti,
Uh-huh.
Renee Zellweger. That was just a great movie that's kind of underrated, I think. But I guess 2 of those were boxing movies, right?
Yeah,
So I do love boxing, though.
Well,
So-
I learned to love boxing when I was little. My dad we used to sit by the radio and listen to the fights, and then they became on TV, the Friday night fights, right?
Yeah.
And Rocky Marciano, I remember him. He did never lose.
He's the only one to ever
never
retire.
lost a heavyweight fight ever.
I think Ray Jones,
Maybe.
he hasn't lost, but he's got an exhibition coming up with Mike Tyson, which is going to be embarrassingly stupid, in my opinion. But we'll see. I think he should retire.
It's all about money, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
and the need for it. True.
If somebody offered me, like $100 million to fight, I'd fight anybody.
So you didn't mention Caddyshack from 1980.
Yeah, it's really funny, but it's not. I'm a huge Bill Murray fan, and I think his other movies are so much better that just by comparison, that movie has always kind of fallen on the wayside, because I recognize it's a good movie, but it's just doesn't do it for me like the.
I think it has quite a great cult following.
It certainly does. It is a funny movie.
Yeah.
Is that one of your favorites, Art?
Not necessarily, but I remember it pretty. And I thought Bill Murray trying to kill the groundhog or whatever.
I mean, he really steals the show.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the best character in that.
Yeah.
Apart, if you count the, is it a squirrel or a
squirrel or
prairie dog? What is it?
A
gopher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the gopher is the best character in that, and then maybe Bill Murray, a very distant second.
Rodney Dangerfield was in that movie, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah. I don't revisit that one as often as some of the other ones. My favorite ones, there are certain sports movies that if I'm just flipping through the TV and it's on, I'm going to watch the whole thing. Any of the Rocky movies will do that. The movie, even though it's like not one of my favorite sports movies, Remember the Titans? I find myself just watching that all the way through. Miracle, I'll watch that all the way through every time it comes on. I don't know.
I was listening to the radio when the miracle happened, and it was on the Friday night semifinal.
So that was 1980. How old were you?
I don't know. I was up there.
You could do some simple math, Art.
Yeah,
1980, how old were you?
32, I think.
Okay.
So, but I remember it. We were listening to the radio on the way to a game at Adams State in Alamosa, Colorado, and Al Michaels called the game, and then we watched the highlights after,
Yeah.
Well, he was all excited. And then you find out that wasn't the championship game, but they beat Russia. So that was the big game. And then was it Finland they beat?
I think it was
for the
Finland.
championship.
Or it was one of those Scandinavian countries.
Yeah, it was.
But what's interesting about the movie is, those producers wished that the real history would have been Russia
for the championship.
in the championship, but it wasn't that way. So in the movie, it's like, it's a miracle, you see the clock slowly going down to 0, and then there's like an after note, like an end note that's like, oh, and by the way, they knocked off Sweden right after that too.
That was Sweden, I think. Yeah, yeah, that was crazy. And I think a lot of people didn't realize that the miracle was the semifinal game.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that.
Yeah,
but those guys are still legends. The guys that played in that game, and so many good lines in that. Like when Kurt Russell does such a good job. His name is, the coach is Herb. What was his name?
Yeah, Herb was
Herb. I can't remember.
The movie really highlighted kind of his comeback as a coach. Yeah.
And his style, people weren't too crazy about that. Because they wanted him to assemble sort of like a 1992 dream team type thing. Get the best players. And he says at one point, he's like, I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right players. And then there's that scene where he asks him, who do you play for? And the guy's like, I play for Minnesota Gophers, or I play for, this team, the Boston, whatever. And then he makes them just do those sprints across the ice. And then finally he says, and they're exhausted and they're like throwing up and they're like, we can't take it anymore. And his assistant coach is like, Herb, you got to stop this. This is madness. And he's like, who do you play for? And the kid goes, I play for the United States of America. And then he's like, that's all I was looking for. That's the answer.
What about the Lou Gehrig movie?
Pride of the Yankees?
Pride of the Yankees.
I love that movie. what was great about that is it was more of a character movie than a baseball movie. I mean, it was about baseball,
Yeah.
but you know, Rocky's that way too, where the first Rocky, I think when you show it to people who haven't seen it before, they watch it thinking, this is not what I expected, because the whole movie is just him kind of like
Yeah.
navigating through life, trying to figure things out and meeting this intensely shy girl and, you know, about their relationship. And I think that's what makes it really meaningful. You can't just do a sports movie that focuses only on the sports where the characters are just cardboard cutouts or they're not that interesting and have it be a good movie. You
Yeah.
just can't. But
Well, the Rocky movie where he meets Adrian and he approaches her and everybody's thinking something's going to happen. And he takes off his glasses and said, I knew you were beautiful. I think it was that line, but that was
Yeah.
good. But it was really a characterization of what they go through to do. Because remember, they kept showing him running up and down the steps and trying to get ready to fight. Was it Carl? The
actor's Carl Weathers, but it was
Weathers.
Apollo Creed.
Yeah, Apollo Creed.
And you know, his characters create a lot of spin-off movies with Michael B. Jordan. Those are great too. But I really like all the Rocky movies except, you know, like number 5 is kind of inferior with Tommy Morrison. But I like pretty much all of them. I like, one of my favorites is actually Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
The one where he's kind of old and his trainer's like, you've got calcium deposits in your hands. And, you know, and he's like, but we're going to turn them into like bombs or hitting bombs or something like that. But that's the one where everyone quotes the line, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up and keep moving forward. Anyway, I showed that to my sons, Ezra and Nick, when they were younger. And I love to tell this story because I'm like, watch this scene. This is so inspiring. And Rocky's like, it's not how many times you get knocked down. And then I'm like, what'd you guys think? And one of my sons, I think it was Nick, he said, what did he say? You know, Sylvester Stallone's always getting a bad rap he's a very intelligent, smart guy, but he gets a bad rap for kind of like mumbling through his lines. And but I love the Rocky movies. Are you a big fan of all the Rocky movies, or what's
I've
your
seen
favorite?
them all, yeah. And I can't say I've seen all the Star Wars movies now. I don't even know. What are they up to, 34 or something?
Well, are you counting all the
Those aren't
TV
sports.
TV spinoffs and everything?
Yeah, they're a
I think that, well, geez, I don't even know how many. They're the original ones, then they're the prequels, then there's the 3 sequel movies, and then there's a Rogue One. Is that it?
I can't even name them all.
I think that's it for all the Star Wars movies. But then you got all the TV shows like Andor and Mandalorian, and I just can't take it anymore. But do you think the original Rocky's the best Rocky movie?
I think so. And it's the one most written about by critics in our field.
Yeah.
Clear back in the 80s, they were writing about Rocky and how it affected pop culture and our culture. It was.
Do you know who wrote that?
Who wrote the
Rocky movie?
I don't really know.
Oh, Sylvester Stallone wrote
Oh,
that.
well, he did it?
Yeah, he did.
He was in it.
Yeah, and then he was pitching it to Avildsen. He's the director. Same director that made one of my other favorite sports movies, which is the original Karate Kid.
Yeah.
So if you think about that, definitely some parallels, right, between those, with the main difference being that Ralph Macchio, actually, Daniel LaRusso wins at the end of that one. I just spoiled Rocky for people that hadn't seen that, but that came out in the 70s. So that was kind of cool that it was a win for him in Rocky that he took Apollo Creed to the distance, you know?
Right.
But
kind of the underdog and how he did against this great fighter.
Because that guy was like the Mike Tyson of, you know, Mike Tyson's youth. He was knocking everybody out. And for Rocky to go like 15 rounds or 12, I can't remember. It used to be 15 back in the day. I don't remember how many rounds were in the movie, but he went the distance and he proved himself.
Well, a lot of the heavyweight fights were 12 rounds, but the championship ones were 15.
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
And he, it kind of showed that you didn't have to win the actual fight for the movie to be a happy ending. I don't know if they did any focus groups on this, but I remember I wasn't dissatisfied with the ending because he didn't win. I was fine with it. Like, I thought that's great that they did it that way. But
The critics probably like that ending better.
yeah, I think so. I think it gives it more
Real flavor.
credibility because it doesn't follow the formula.
Yeah.
A lot of times movies will get torn apart for being too derivative or being just following the same formula. And, so there's some good lines in those Rocky movies too. Like I love the one where, what's his trainer's name?
trainer.
Meredith.
The actor was.
The actor, Meredith Burgess.
Burgess. He was in Foul Play too.
He was, and he was in the Clash of the Titans movie
Yeah,
too.
he
Remember the
was,
old
right.
one? But Rocky at one point says, I'm seeing 3 of them. And he goes, hit the one in the middle. So Sylvester Stallone, he writes good stuff.
Yeah,
I think he's great.
he is. What others? I was thinking of another one, but now it's slipped my mind. But there are a lot of sports movies that aren't necessarily focused on the idea of winning and losing. The Bad News Bears, Walter Matthau.
Yeah,
I haven't talked about that one.
No, I haven't seen that one for a long time. I remember it being really funny, and the kids swore a lot. So I'm not sure I was allowed to watch that much when I was younger. But yeah, and then they did a new Bad News Bears too, but it wasn't nearly as good. But can you think of other movies where they didn't win at the end, but it was still considered?
Well, the whole
success?
story of Lou Gehrig was
Yeah.
not about winning, because that's the great speech at Yankee Stadium was his last game. And then Cal Ripken Jr. came along later and broke his consecutive game playing record and went way past it. And they
nobody's ever going to beat that record.
Now,
ever.
because so many substitutions, they have to give them rest. And
Yeah.
Well, so what others? So what are some?
What do you have on your? You want me to do some quiz questions?
Did I talk about Bull Durham?
We haven't yet, but I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Okay, I won't.
I know it's your
answers.
show, but I'm gonna. In what film does a coach famously ask, "Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose"?
I don't know.
That one's Friday Night Lights.
Friday
Have
Night
you not
Lights.
seen that?
I haven't seen it.
They turned it into a TV show, but
show.
the movie had Billy Bob Thornton in it, and that was great. That was really great too. What about this one? Great moments are born from great opportunity.
Hoosiers?
No, that one's Miracle.
Miracle. Well, Hoosiers was a kind of
Okay, you'll get this one.
Okay.
You got to end this
I won't. I might
0 for
not
2
get it.
streak. Which baseball movie features the line, "If you build it, he will come"?
Oh, Kevin Costner and out in Iowa, right?
Yeah.
Field of Dreams.
There you go. Okay, this is kind of a hard one. How many sports movies have won the Academy Award for Best Picture?
I don't know.
I looked it up. I knew one of them.
Rocky
we had
did.
talked about this movie a lot. Yeah, Rocky did.
Yeah.
But the other ones I had forgotten about. Chariots of Fire, 1981.
Oh, yeah.
And $1 Million Baby in 2004.
$1 Million Baby was a...
Did you see that one?
I did, yeah.
That was so good, but also super depressing.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood directed that. He's an amazing director. I think he's as good a director as he is an actor. But yeah, do you remember Angeline? No, Hilary Swank was in that.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was terrific. I think she won the Best Actress too for that year.
She probably did. She deserved it at least.
How about this one? What 1976? Maybe the year will clue you in. Sports movie features the line, "You're gonna eat lightning and crap thunder." Crap's not a bad word on the radio, is it? I think it's fine.
Not today.
That's Rocky.
Rocky.
You're gonna eat lightning and crap thunder.
Yeah.
Who plays the washed-up hockey player turned golf sensation in Happy Gilmore?
Who was Happy Gilmore? I know, but I can't think of his name.
They just made a second one.
Yeah.
Which is not very good, but it's kind of funny.
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
They have a lot of cameos in it.
Yeah, you don't remember the actor?
I should, but
Adam Sandler.
my daughter would know all this.
I don't think you'll know this one, but I watched this one.
I haven't known
This
many
is
of
this
them.
is an off the radar one.
Yeah.
I used to watch. I still watch it with my family a lot, but it has the line where there's a character that's a former hockey player, but he gets hit and he can't. His vision's messed up. So,
Is that Woody Harrelson? No.
So
that was the bowling movie, wasn't it?
That's Kingpin.
Kingpin.
Yeah, he loses his hand.
Yeah.
He doesn't lose his eye though.
Uh-uh.
But this guy, he's kind of blind in one eye, so he can't play hockey anymore. So he goes into figure skating, and he gets paired up with a girl that's just a total witch. And every time he falls and trips, she says, "Toe pick." So do you know what movie that is?
I don't, but I was thinking of the lead character. It has to be the comedian guy.
It's D.B. Sweeney, but the movie's The Cutting Edge, and I don't think anybody's seen that one. But
yeah,
here's another one you'll definitely know because this deals with stats, sports stats. And I have to say, since Art never likes to tout his own abilities and accomplishments, but this guy knows more sports stats than anyone I've ever met in my entire life. Before the show, I said, who pitched in the 1965 World Series? And you knew what it was, right?
Sandy Koufax.
What about 1966?
Sandy Koufax. That was
What about 1967?
Bob Gibson, I
What
think.
about 1968?
Dennis. The guy, Lolich, who won 30 games.
Who won the World Series in 1952?
1952, the Yankees.
Okay, I proved my point.
Okay.
Here's the question. In Moneyball, which Major League Baseball team does Brad Pitt's character try to rebuild using data analytics?
The Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, there you go. How about you'll know this one too? We want to end on a strong note. In Hoosiers, what is the name of the tiny Indiana school whose basketball team makes it to the state championship?
Now say it again.
What is the name of the tiny Indiana school whose basketball team makes it to the state championship?
I don't know. Was that Larry Bird later on from that city?
I don't know if he was from that school, but he was from a small town in
He
Indiana
was,
too.
yeah, he was. And
You're going to know when I say it because I bet you've seen this movie a million times.
I haven't seen it.
Hickory High School. And then last question. This is one of my favorite sports movies, but in Cinderella Man, who does James J. Braddock, that's the character played by Russell Crowe, defeat to become the heavyweight boxing champion of the world?
I don't know. Joe Louis?
No, Max Baer.
Max Baer.
Did you know they made
I
him,
did know.
They made him kind of a villain in the movie, and
He
his
was.
family was kind of ticked off about that.
Yeah, for sure.
But you have to have a villain, right?
That's true.
You can't have two super nice guys fighting each other.
I've
That's
got this
boring.
Rolling Stone article, and here's one. Number 23 on their list is Bend It Like Beckham from 2002.
What number is it?
Number 23 out of
I thought
35.
that's a soccer or football movie, and I've only seen it one time. I thought it was tremendously boring, but I know a lot of people like it.
Okay.
I just didn't like it too much. Maybe it has to do with the sport. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it was.
I
It was an interesting movie, but like you said, a lot of Americans weren't into it then.
No,
Not yet. Now
don't-
they are more, but
a bit more now,
yeah.
especially since Ryan Reynolds just bought, and my sons are going to be so mad at me. Rob McElhenney
Okay.
bought the Wrexham team over in Wales, and they did a documentary series. So now there's a lot of fans. I must admit, I've been following Wrexham now, so I'll look at the table of standings and stuff to see how they're doing because it's quite a good story. They got promoted from the bottom league all the way up to the they're not in the championship league yet, I don't think, or maybe they are, but they advanced 2 years in a row, and so I think that kind of thing is helping. And then wasn't the World Cup played in America just not too long
ago?
I think that helped too.
Yeah, it was more around the turn of the century, and I think France was playing. And I was in Los Angeles at the time, and the old Hollywood the hotel anyway, they used to have a great buffet, so we and a lot of the soccer players were there because they were going to play France, and it was huge. They had parades and people really, that was a big sport in Europe forever.
Yeah.
And that was one of the first. I'm not sure of the year, but it was quite a while ago.
I'm actually embarrassed.
Remember that I gave you the
from the pin?
Clinton.
Yeah, that was from 2000.
And that was the year, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm actually embarrassed that I just said, didn't the World Cup play here not too long ago? And you're like, yeah, 25 years ago. I do that in my classes all the time where I'm like, a few years ago, and then I go look it up, and it was like, yeah. Before they were even born.
Right.
So everything to me is just a few years ago. But
so you did this kind of thing with your two sons on movies.
The podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we do like a side plug on here on
Sure.
Apple Podcasts and Spotify? And I think it's on most of them. We have a podcast called Movies, the Podcast.
Okay.
And we've done probably like 20 something shows, I think, but they're all themed on different things. Like we'll do like best movie soundtracks or best horror films or best directors, or we did one that was all on Nicolas Cage. And so we just kind of choose a theme and run with it. My sons are just as bad as I am, if not worse. So it's fun to get my two boys together and talk about films. I don't think there's another podcast that's kind of like that family themed where a father and sons are talking about movies, but I could be wrong. But that's our podcast, so.
Well, interesting, I think. And movies are a favorite of a lot of people.
Why don't you talk a little bit about your podcast and what you do generally on your podcast?
Well, they're mostly sports themed, but that depends on who I'm talking to. But Jeff Skaggs was a player back in 1981. Dion O'Driscoll graduated the year before they won the championship in the RMAC. And under McCracken, the head coach then, who's still up in Washington and communicates with those guys. They have their own, I'm on it too, but I see all the things they talk to each other back and forth from the 1983 championship team. That's before McCracken went to the University of Utah as an assistant. But so I know a lot about a lot of things, but I don't always know all the champions. But in the World Series, I could probably tell you all the way back. And the last guy to bat over 400, Ted Williams, 406 in 1941.
He was great. He was. I've heard a lot of stories about him, not even baseball related, but about his character, that he was actually a person of really high integrity. There's a famous quote, and I can't quote it, but he said something about how they offered him a contract and he wouldn't take it because he had missed some games or something that year, and he told him to revise it or something like that, so it more reflected what he had contributed. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. But
well, the Tommy John surgeries are sure at the forefront of baseball right now. So many of the pitchers have the injury and miss a year or two and then come back even stronger. So the Dodgers, Buehler now.
Wait, they have the surgery and then they come back stronger?
Some of them.
That mirrors another sports movie. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's a Disney movie.
Okay.
It's called Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And this kid breaks his arm, and then somehow he's a pitcher, but he's not very good. But he breaks his arm, and somehow when it heals, the tendons are tighter. So I don't know how that works in terms of physics or sports or anything. But in the movie world, it makes his arm have more spring in it, and he pitches really well, and he ends up going to the major leagues as a kid.
What, the Angels?
No, that's a different movie. That's Angels in the Outfield.
In the outfield.
There are
a lot of different ones.
Yeah, there's Little Big League, Angels in the Outfield. There are a lot of sports Disney movies. Yeah. One of the best is Gus. Do you remember that one? That's where they get a mule that kicks the field goals. That's awesome.
That must be a take up on the Budweiser commercials.
There's a lot of Disney movies that are fun, sports movies. But when you said, this is kind of going to be a weird segue, but when you said you talked to somebody named McCracken, it made me think of Bill Murray's character in Kingpin is named Ernie McCracken.
Ernie McCracken. Yeah.
And that is a crazy movie done by the Farrelly brothers, who are known for doing like really kind of raunchy, slapsticky stuff. Like they did there's something about Mary and a few others. But we were talking like, is bowling a game, or is it a sport, or is that even a sports movie? So tell me what you think are the parameters of a sport versus a game. And would that count as a sports movie?
Culturally, I think a lot of the sports movies focus a little bit on culture and the surroundings of what's going on. And then the sports almost becomes secondary. But I've seen some of the movies on here that I hadn't heard of, mostly because they were kind of had a following in pop culture, but they weren't really popular at the box office.
Okay. So, yeah, I want to know what else you have.
Have you heard of Blue Chips?
Yeah, that's the one with Nick Nolte, where he recruits blue chip or highly touted basketball players. I know Penny Hardaway was in that, and Shaquille O'Neal had a role in that. It was an okay movie. It wasn't like great or anything. Do they have that on the list?
Yeah, it's number 25.
No way.
No way.
No way is that top 25.
Let's see what the last part was. Well, 23 was Bend It with Beckham. 25 is Blue Chips. Tin Cup. The Cup was in it. You talked about that one.
That one's
you and I were talking about it.
I actually love that. And for those of you who haven't seen it, this guy, played by Kevin Costner, is a really great golfer, but he's kind of undisciplined. And there's a whole scene at the end where he has to hit the ball over this water, and it's a really hard shot because people hit it over the water, and then it lands on the green, and then it rolls off back in the water, and everyone's telling him, no, don't do that, just take 2 shots, get it over into the safer area, and then you can chip it onto the green. And it's a really important tournament. He has to get a certain score in order to make it into the field of the next tournament or whatever. And he just keeps hitting ball after ball, trying to get it onto that green. He will not play it safe. And the lesson there is like, sometimes you got to take risks. But I mean, I don't know if it's a good lesson because it didn't work out for him. Like his stubbornness got the best of him. But I just think that scene is hilarious where they're telling him, no, don't do that. And he's like, I'm going to make this,
Well, the caddy would say, go around, hit it down there to the right, and then you can get to the green easy.
Yeah.
But that's why the critics like the movie, I think, because you couldn't predict what was going to happen. And
you raise a good point. Like if you ever go on Rotten Tomatoes and see like how they respond, they always have the critic score and the audience score, and it's fun for me to see it when they're dramatically different from each other. And so a movie like that is likely to appeal to critics, but then the audience might be like, no, I want to see him win that tournament at the end, and they might not like it as much. And so I just think that you're right on that unconventional story that focuses on character are probably going to appeal more to critics than the fans. The fans want to see the fun popcorn movie.
Everything to end.
Yeah, the happy ending.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sort of like the Dodgers yesterday beating 8-0. Finally, they beat Arizona.
Only you would think
to
that
clinch
was
the
a happy
championship
ending.
in the West Division.
Actually, I like the Dodgers, but I'm a Cardinals fan, and I've got a buddy who loves the Padres, and he's really nervous about when they meet up with the Dodgers.
Well, a couple of years ago, they beat the Dodgers out.
They should make a movie about Clayton Kershaw and his playoff performances. That would be a big hit with the critics, but the audiences would hate it because he never won any games in the playoffs.
He's had a rough go in the playoffs.
He sure has.
He's going to be a reliever, I think, this year in the World Series if they get there. And he'll be in the playoffs. They're going to be a wild card. So
I think
the other night, Kershaw came in and pitched the 9th inning.
I think he'll do well, but I just feel bad for the guy because I really like Kershaw, and he always has like a wonderful regular season, and then it's time to bring it. And I guess my point is Clayton Kershaw's story would not make for a very typical feel-good sports movie.
Even though he has a great family life and they show Okay, what about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift?
You think that would make a great movie?
I don't know. They'll probably make one.
That
They've
wouldn't
had
be
it on TV every.
I don't think
football
it'll be
game.
a sports movie. I think it'll be like a rom-com,
Yeah.
right? But can you think of any athletes that you have they have not made a movie about that you think would make a good movie?
I don't know. Well, right now the Seattle hitter who's just hit his 60th.
Oh, Cal.
Yeah.
His name's Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, Raleigh.
He just hit his
60th.
60th. Yeah. So he's in limited company there with Babe Ruth and
Oh yeah.
who else is in there?
Well,
there are a few.
62 was the Yankee hitter that got that, and way back, the Yankees, Babe Ruth hit the 60 back in 1927 or 8, right in there, and boy, those guys, there was a whole different game then. Walter Johnson, who pitched for the Washington Senators, once won 2 games in a doubleheader on the same day. These managers today, you if you can go 5 innings or even 6, it's great. But then they have to have a great bullpen.
Yeah, they definitely do.
So there might be a great movie to be done about the bullpen pitchers
That would be fun.
and how
I
they
like that idea.
have to do the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings.
And then it's all pressure on them. You've got the
Yeah.
save or the blown save.
That's
There's
right.
only 2 options there.
Yeah.
What do you have? I think we're starting to run out of time.
Yeah,
but
we're about- this is
what's
about
at the
it.
top of the list? I want to know what they have as like the top
You already
3.
said, yeah, the top.
I want to know what
3.
they have for the top 3 and what.
Hoop Dreams number 1.
Oh, Hoop Dreams. I don't have a problem with that.
It's more of a documentary.
It's a documentary,
turned to
and
a
they followed
film.
those
Yeah.
kids from their childhood all the way up to their NBA dream, and it's an
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah, it is.
documentary.
And now Rocky's number 2. on
Okay.
This is out of Rolling Stone.
Yeah,
The Bad News Bears was 3.
I wouldn't
from
put that
76. And Raging Bull was 4th.
okay.
And
That's a great
that was
one.
Scorsese who did that.
I kind of have a
And it was
problem with
black and white.
Hoosiers not being in the top 3, but
Caddyshack is 5th. Hoosiers was in, I think it was number 11. No, number 11 was White Men Can't Jump from 1992.
that's a fun one.
And that's been a popular movie.
Yeah, they made a TV show of that too.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite sports movie of all time, Art? Did you say that already? If you had to watch,
Hoosiers is my favorite.
so if you were stuck on a desert island and had to watch one movie, sports movie,
because of Gene
Have you-
Hackman, I would watch
I
that.
would go with that too.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, that's so good.
Plus, he did The French Connection and won the Academy
Oh,
Award
he's done so many good
so
movies.
long ago.
So
Yeah.
many good movies.
Well, thanks, Kevin, for being here.
yeah,
And,
that was fun. Thanks for inviting me, Art. I appreciate it.
yeah, it's fun to talk about movies, and we both love movies.
We basically just did what we do all the time at the office down there. It just happens to be recorded this time.
That's true. Well, thanks for coming, and
Yeah. thank
appreciate you being here on our show, A Time with Art.